click the links, join channel, or check out the Patreon. Subscribe, Star Odyssey, Bit Chute. So, California is a nightmare. Yeah, no poop. So, this guy's personal trainer gets yeeted outside of a weed store. Shocking, that only happens every day. If you arrest people and then release them, they will continue to commit crime. That shouldn't be such a complicated thing to admit. If you put people in prison for 40 years, they will not be able to commit crimes outside of prison for 40 years. Sometimes it really is just that simple. America is falling to pieces, and yes, it absolutely is, because maybe if you're young, you don't see it, but if you're over 40, holy cow, you can remember a time when America wasn't always like this. It used to be a real cool place. California used to be cool. Only a few decades ago, it was a lot better place. Because nobody wants to admit that for some people, the only thing stopping them from crime is to physically put them behind bars. All that hippy-dippy globalist nonsense about prison reform or sentencing guidelines and not multiple charging things, people for gang affiliations and stuff, that doesn't change the harsh reality. You simply, you can see it before you. You get more horrific levels of crime. We're talking about California. I don't know if you remember this little Seth Rogen article from last year. You can avoid the truth, but you can't avoid the consequences of the truth. And to be fair, even like every once in a while you'll see, if you watch YouTube news, local news, not national news, see interviews with San Francisco liberals who are living, in those houses on those bizarro hills. And they're talking about, their garages getting broken into like once a month, or their Teslas getting broken into, or the stores being, ransacked. And then they show, they have sidewalk sales, the people who are stealing the stuff, where they openly just sell everything they looted on the sidewalk. Like everything that just came from the Walgreens is out on the sidewalk, or it's at a swap meet. And like even San Francisco liberals are looking around and going, oh, okay, these, as Act Nation calls them, gliders. Yeah, some of them are gliders, and some of them are just really, really brainwashed to think, oh, hey, our policies kind of worked. Didn't really. We had something else in mind as the end result of these policies. Yeah, because you're the people who thought up the policies. They only work for people who think like you. Hack Nation's on YouTube, fantastic channel. So Seth Rogen gave someone a gentle warning last year when the guy said his car was broken into, and something like his children's artwork was stolen, because talking about the massive violent crime wave in California goes against the narrative. There's that narrative that these left-wing policies and these the guy who appoints California DAs and DAs across the country, who funds their campaigns and puts them in office where it was mutual combat. It was Kim Fox and that guy who puts those people in office. I don't know if you can say his name on YouTube anymore because it's haram now. Those policies don't actually work. Every one of those appointed DAs you see in office is a absolute family nightmare, dystopian hellhole city. And just look around you. It's like nobody's hiding this. They try to hide the news at the national level, but if you follow local news channels on YouTube, they report the news, because if they didn't report this stuff, they wouldn't have anything to report. California has massive crime, and it has tent cities, and every blue city has massive tent cities. It's like the result of feminism from the past 60 years. Yeah, feminism is one of the major causes for this. If you grow up people with single moms without support structures, well, what happens when they don't have support? Oh, the taxpayers, the support structure now. Oh, okay, well, it's just obviously a family policy. You've seen it for the past 60 years. Yeah, let's double down on it. It clearly shows you who is hurt by left-wing, soft-on-crime policies. Seth Rogen can afford to get his window replaced. For most people, it's a massive problem. But for Hollywood, the mainstream media, and the California government, or any blue government, are all on the same page. Destroy California and these states as fast as possible. They very successfully have done it. The difference in California from 30 years ago to today is you just wouldn't believe it unless you're old enough to have been there to look around California circa 1992. You wouldn't recognize it today. They've destroyed it in 30 years, and I'm sure they've done it to a lot of other states also. It's a very dangerous place now. And the thing is, you can't even carry concealed to protect yourself because only the criminals are armed in California. Everyone else is a future defenseless victim. The buses and subways have packs of teens that just routinely go through the trains and rob the passengers of their phones, purses, and everything else. And back in the day, that was all they did. Now they're getting violent and they're attacking the passengers, the female passengers, committing struggle snuggles against them. It's like, oh, thank God, it's all on camera. Yeah, those cameras don't actually stop anything. They just help you identify the person afterwards, but they don't actually. The only thing that stops a criminal is a 115 grain high velocity piece of lead. And Bart refuses to really talk about what's going on. There's articles on that on YouTube. It talks about Bart and the train stuff. You can check that out. It's just as you watch these YouTube videos, you're like, oh, this is all actually happening. Where like everyone in a position of power is facilitating the destruction of California, the state in specific. Like they're really all doing this stuff. They're making every decision that would destroy a state. And then that's what they're doing. They're making those decisions. Like nobody is standing up saying, oh, we need to turn this around because nobody wants this kind of game theory. Nobody wants to, they all want to benefit, but nobody wants to be the focal point and get the, get the slings and arrows to be the first person to kind of stand up and saying, yeah, we gotta, that whole defund the police thing and the prison reform stuff. Yeah, that's not working. I mean, you clearly, how do you have to personally be a victim of violent crime yourself to look around and go, yeah, you're going to have consequences for behavior. Otherwise, you just get more of this behavior. It's like all this fairyland, like puff and buffer stuff, thinking of butterflies and mushroom forests of, we just need to treat everyone kindly. No, they're just going to loot the Walgreens and sell the stuff literally on the sidewalk outside, and nobody's going to do anything about it because you elected these people. It's like you're getting the consequences of the people you voted for. Congratulations, liberals. California is what you get with left-wing policies. So they think it's failed because they haven't gone left-wing enough. They're globalists. They destroy nations. California doesn't have water, but the door is wide open. That only makes sense. All this only makes sense. If you have a hard time wrapping your head around this, getting focus, it only makes sense when you understand that the goal all along is to destroy the nation and destroy the state, and then state by state by state by nation to turn it into what they've turned it into. If you're over 40 and you live in California, 30 years ago, you know what California was like in 1992. It was entirely different. 82 was better, 72 was better, 62 was better, 52 was better. It used to be a red state, and it used to be a lot safer. California's a nightmare now. San Francisco, anywhere, Portland, the whole West Coast, Oregon, Washington, California. 30 years ago, there weren't tent cities. It wasn't like it is now, where you drive through neighborhoods and you see vans in neighborhoods and they look run down. Yeah, that's not the owner's van. People are living in those vans. You see people going to the bathroom in the alleyways because they're living in those vans. Or you see lines of RVs. Yeah, people are living in those. It's all over the Bay Area. It's all over California, Oregon, Washington. It wasn't like that 30 years ago. There was a few people. There are always going to be a few people. But the results of these policies are what you get now, a failed state. Oh, is somebody going to do something about it? Nope. Nobody's going to do anything about it because you got guys like Seth Rogen who give other Hollywood actors a little gentle warning. Ha ha, ha ha, California's lovely. Ha ha, I got my car broken into 15 times. He's worth $80 million at his $150,000 Tesla. Got a $600 window replacement. But when some guy has a $15,000 Toyota Corolla, which don't get me wrong, is a great car, and he has to also pay $600 for his window to be replaced, every 6 months. Oh, well, it's your fault for leaving something in your car. Yeah, but if you lived in a high-trust society, you could leave your car unlocked, as many people did back in the days in California in the 70s and 80s. In fact, you leave your front door unlocked because home invasions weren't a thing, because criminals very rightly feared the police, what the police would do to them. And so there were no home invasions in certain towns. It just didn't happen. Cars getting broken into. If your car was unlocked, you might get your sunglasses stolen by some neighborhood kids. And that was the extent of it. And so those same neighborhoods now have security cameras and steel doors. Congratulations, California. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Just get some steel doors. And just get some security cameras. And just get a 12-gauge auto-loany Browning shotgun to protect yourself. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's other things. You could vote differently. Oh, no, vote for more globalist appointed DAs. I don't know if you can say that guy's name. His first name is George, and the last name starts with S. Right on the edge for YouTube. YouTube is asshole. Anyway, check me out on Subscribestar if you can. I've started putting some stuff up there. Some stuff's exclusive for Subscribestar. It's $2 a month. So, and I will see you guys all next episode.